Good evening. Let's hear it for our host. The great job she's doing. Comedy Store. You know what I hate about being English and living in America? Nothing. Except everyone here thinks I'm Australian. I keep being taken to British bars. What is it about this accent that people think I've never seen the inside of a British bar before? I mean, why not just humiliate me with reruns of Benny Hill? Or torture me with the Spice Girls? Or degrade me with socialised healthcare? And if you really, really want to take me back, why don't we have a good old-fashioned IRA bomb scare? Oh, come on, they were so much fun. They always used to ring up and say, "Hello, it's the IRA. Oh, how lovely to hear from you. What's happening? We planted a bomb. Everybody back inside. We'll play out next weekend. Not next weekend." Oh, saved yourself a phone call, haven't you? Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all those Americans out there who did sponsor them. I was going to say terrorists, but of course we were non-Americans, so freedom fighters, as you call them over here. But I think what was weird about my childhood is that my father was actually a priest, and my grandfather was also a priest. I, of course, became an actor, so we've been faking it for a living in my family for generations, in fancy dress. My father once actually, he said to me, he said, "Son, I'm surprised you haven't followed my footsteps." What, like becoming a cross-dresser at weekends, Dad? No, I thought you might want to become a priest. I said, "Oh, Dad, that's a tricky one. You see, I find it odd, this omnipresent figure who allows terrible things to happen in the world, like war, famine, so you think you can dance." I mean, to me, it just seems like nonsense. My dad says, "Well, it is nonsense, son, but they're still buying. It's supply and demand. Come on, it's a job that comes with a house." Comes with a house. You know, I know some people might get married for a house or might even get divorced for a house. And some people might become bankers. I mean, those bastards have got lots of houses recently, haven't they? But this was a job that came with a house. And what a house that was. I should explain this. My father was actually a mental vicar. I don't mean like Billy Graham or Mike Huckabee mental. I mean, he actually worked in a mental hospital. See, the thing is, in England, if you're mentally ill, what they actually do is they put you in a mental hospital. Whereas if you're mentally ill in the United States of America, they give you a show on the Fox News channel. Or if you're a real bull goose loony, they'll give you a seat in Congress. Or maybe Governor of Alaska. Or possibly Texas. But anyway, so it was kind of an odd job. I mean, my poor father, he'd have people coming up to him and they'd say, "Oh, Reverend, I've had this wonderful conversation with God." And he'd have to say, "Well, on the outside world, I'd say that was wonderful. But in this mental hospital, I have to say, that's delusional. A little bit mental." But I actually, it was weird for me when we were growing up. I mean, I obviously had to live there, not as a patient. Well, after living in Hollywood for 3 years, I probably could go back as a patient now. But it was difficult, especially when I got to my teenage years and I started fancying girls and hoping that they wouldn't find the sight of me make them vomit. And I really liked this girl called Susie Bunker. And if you saw her, you'd want to bunker too, sir. She was lovely. But she never once called me back. Or so I thought. Until one day I was going through the schoolyard. And there was this guy, Gary Mills, who always used to hang out with the girls. And to be a ladies' man, this was the 80s, you had to look like a cross between George Michael and Boy George, which is a sort of like a slightly lesser macho version of Adam Lambert and Johnny Weir. Anyway, he says, "Conolly, do you live in a mental hospital?" "No, of course I don't live in a mental hospital. Who would say such a thing?" "Susie Bunker. She says you gave her your phone number and when she called up, she got through to the mental hospital." Well, I was just actually so delighted that Susie Bunker had called me back. I've been keeping it secret for years, and I was something like, yeah, I do, I live in a mental hospital. Well, I said, I don't live there. My dad lives there. I mean, he's not a patient, he's a priest. Look, it's a job that comes with a house. And eventually, out comes Susie Bunker. You're still thinking about her, aren't you? Yeah, don't you? She was 15, sir, please. She comes out and she says, David, so you do live in a mental hospital? Like, yeah. And your father is the priest in the mental hospital? Yeah. I'm sorry, David, this isn't going to work. Why? Because I live in a mental hospital. No, because I don't want to date the son of a priest. Which is weird, because he then went out with my brother for 6 months. But, strange. But I used to feel for my dad, because I always felt he was never off duty. Because we have something called the World Cup, which is it's like a Super Bowl, except important. And unlike your World Series, it's like other countries play each other. And being English, we always had this, we were always perennially just like clutching defeat out the jaws of victory, and we lose every bloody World Cup on penalties. Anyway, my dad, he's watching the game, he's loving it, he's getting in there, and suddenly the phone rings. You get it, son. It's probably Susie Bunker trying to call you back. Tell her your brother's out. Anyway. Hello, this is the chaplain's house. How can I help you? Oh, Dad, it's for you. It's some guy. He says he's looking out the top window of his high-rise and he wants to kill himself. It's the bloody World Cup! Could you call back in 45 minutes? He says he might be dead by then, Dad. Just turn the TV round so I can actually watch the game while I'm on the phone. Oh, it's so annoying. Yeah, okay, yeah. Hi, Frank, what's going on? Corner. Yeah, Frank, just take a deep breath and just do as I say. Oh, go on, head the ball, jump! Moving, Frank. You probably all want to know how that tragic story ended. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, England lost on penalties. Thank you, good night.